Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here. And have you ever heard that expression? Man, the life of a dog. Got it all. They just get to hang out all day, no worries, play outside, bang whatever, right? They always talk about the life of a dog. Well, when I think of the life of a dog, now I love dogs, I can't help but think of Pavlovian type experiments and responses via treats, rewards for dogs, and the story that is now trending everywhere, which is really only going to be a small portion of this broadcast. But the good people at Krispy Kreme Donuts, okay? Well, there's free donuts for you. It's like a treat for the dog. They treat us like pets. They treat us like children. If you can show your boopity boop card, yeah. Now, this story in particular really struck me when I saw it because it shows how lowest common denominator everything out there is right now. And I'm warning people, there are stories that we're going to go over here on YouTube that are only going to be really explored over on Rockfin. So you got to make sure that you have that free Rockfin account so you can join us for, an extra 10, 15, sometimes 20 minutes. It depends. We cover a lot. But the deal is, if you watched my walk and talk recently, talked about I had a discussion with some conservatives and in particular a police officer. Okay? The police officer also told me this, and it's just like this, and it's craziness. So I told you how he was going to get out. He said that they were having a new program for your health and all these different things, and that, you were going to have to get up earlier and you were going to have to pass this test and be able to run this and do so many sit-ups, pull-ups, that type of thing, Basically a physical fitness test, the likes of which you did in high school. Great. And this guy was, first of all, I asked what his age was. He's 2 years older than me. I guess maybe a year and a half, right? I can't believe it's going to be this way, but in 4 months I'll be 42 years old already. 43-year-old guy, jacked, ripped. Now, he knew Pat, who I was with, Militich, and he was telling me, he used to hold heavy bags and even held the mitts for Robbie Lawler, etc. Really fit guy. And the thing is, he's like, oh, this sounds great. That's good. And one of the things they haven't pushed during this whole COVID 1984 narrative is get your immune system up, exercise, vitamins, etc. Right? Here's the kicker. You don't have to do any of those things if you take the boopity boop instead. So they're incentivizing slothfulness, laziness, less physical fitness in law enforcement. And this just speaks even louder to the disturbing laziness of society, the subservience, the acquiescence, the acceptance that, oh, I get a donut? I mean, my God. 50 watching, can we get the thumbs up? Because this is insanity. Now, the main story we're going to cover over here on YouTube, and we're going to read a lot of it, is what I learned as a COVID 1984 contact tracer in New York City. I'm telling you right now, they're getting ready with this contact tracing force as the new subsidized law enforcement with no training that's going to do as it's told and doesn't care about the Constitution and Bill of Rights. And they're going to portray them as heroes like they portray this woman and anybody who questions them as conspiracy theorists, which they do in this article. So this is going to be the main portion of this. But we're also going to talk about this, how there is no end to these lockdowns. You see this, New York? You see this? Oh, okay. I don't want to read it out loud. Covering that headline. That's only going to be on the Rockfin. We're going to talk about some of the protests against Cuomo that don't have anything to do with the distraction of inappropriate, sexual intimidation. I mean, that stuff's relevant, but not as relevant of what's going on with these authoritarian dictates, lockdowns, medical martial law, etc. That's going to be on the other side. And how they're telling us basically the AstraZeneca boopity boop is the best thing since breakfast. You know what? You might as well have it with your cornflakes. It's that good. Okay? We're going to cover all that, and I'm going to be able to tell you how I feel about that over on the flip, only at Rockfin. Again, can we get to 14,000 followers? So we're going to cover these stories. I want to remind everybody, all my documentary films are free. My entire YouTube channel is also backed up here on Odyssey. We're fully demonetized, so everything helps. At Jason Burmis is the Venmo, and Jason is Void at Yahoo is the PayPal. All right, let's get it rolling. Let's get it rolling. I want to read this because my boy Scanoni sent this to me, and it really made me sick. Made me very upset. I was a COVID-19 contact tracer in New York City, and for a short time, people would unlock their vulnerabilities and allow me into their lives. Oh, isn't that sweet? By the way, shout out to Steve from Slow News Day. I see him in the chat. M200, Steve, that's the camera you want, my friend. There's a lot of cheap accessories and great stuff you can do with those. I didn't get into it because it was my dream job. Of course you didn't. Or even because I wanted someone to clap for me at 7 p.m. like many of my colleagues. Oh, I didn't mean to be a hero. I just needed a job. That's the thing. All these people are going to need jobs. They've eviscerated small businesses. They've taken out huge levels of the cash economy. They put people further into debt than ever. And I just wanted to help in some capacity as a global pandemic devastated my city. It's like those hero Amazon commercials. Oh, mommy's a hero. Let me check your temperature. Beep, 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 beep. Leads to boop and it boop. A lot of people think of contact tracers as robocallers. That they call up COVID-19 cases and say, hey, give me your contacts. But the answer was almost never screw you or sure, here you go. Most of the conversations were more nuanced than that. Oh, isn't that? They were so nuanced. Man, you know how I feel about this whole contact tracing thing. I don't like any of it. For one, you often had to tell people the first time that they had COVID-19, having to respond with empathy and patience to the reaction instantly dispelled any notion that this was a telemarketing style job. Well, you know, again, when you're not telling them about real world solutions that were out there that were cheap. Can't say that. I want to throw that in the background when you're not telling them about things like that or things like that. And instead you cancel things like this and you take down videos that highlight things like that, right? Right? Senate hearings and stuff. I mean, yeah, you're going to scare the shit out of people, huh? I didn't set out to be a hero. Oh boy, it's just crazy. I educated people about emergency warning signs and when they needed to go to the hospital. Oh, that's so nice that you did that. Again, none of the stuff that would actually be a solution. I educated them. Well, what were you? You're a doctor? Oh, you're not a doctor. You're a contact tracer. You're a repeater. You're a bootlicker. You're the new medical martial law brown shirt. That's what you are. I asked them about their symptoms to determine when they were infectious and how long they needed to isolate. She's not a doctor. What the fuck are we talking about here? I'll tell you what we're talking about. I told them about job protections. Oh, it's putting me out of work. Oh, and help them get letters to give their employers explaining they couldn't go to work. I set them up with an isolation hotel, quarantine center, so they could separate from loved ones, or with food and medication delivery if they needed it. Oh, medication delivery if they needed it. So they get their meds for other things that doctors prescribed? Okay. Wow. Wow. I had sent them care packages of masks, thermometers, pulse oximeters, and hand sanitizer. Oh my goodness. She's motherfucking Teresa. And of course, I also got contact information for anyone who was exposed to them while they were infectious. I got all the contact info. My official title was Case Investigator. Oh, you're a police officer. Oh, you're law enforcement now. And that's the thing. They're going to amalgamate all these, defund the police. We don't need doctors. We don't need the Constitution or Bill of Rights. And before they can roll out the robots, they need a bunch of bootlickers to enforce this like they did during Nazi Germany. They are the modern brown shirts. Period. Obey. Case investigator. What the fuck are you talking about? And, I'm sorry I'm cursing a lot on this one on the YouTube end, but wait till we get into the other articles that I can't talk about here. I would catch someone talking about their roommate early in the conversation and then say, nope, I don't have any contacts. Oh, you caught them. Sorry, busted. But I also witnessed the humanity behind those case numbers ticking up every day. It's the humanity. There were people who took the news of having COVID-19 in stride. I'll bet there were. Maybe they already knew they were positive and had accepted. Maybe they were isolating in their second home with their amenities needed, or they had no symptoms, and this was like a vacation. There was some humor. People who said they couldn't smell their cat's litter box or didn't have to lie about their spouse's cooking because they couldn't actually taste it. Oh, it's hilarious now. Like, see how they're humanizing this, legitimizing it? Those were good calls. Those were the good ones. But boy, here come those devastating hard calls. And look, again, it's scary when you're older. You got comorbidities. They're not going to let you even have the medications that other people say work in that. So they outlawed some of those. Yeah, it's scary. That's scary. And especially when you look at this thing, when there was so much misinformation, disinformation going on about it, right? We could talk about PCR testing, amongst others, right? Come on. But there were people who didn't take the news so well. Some would sob, and I would try to console that person I just met by telling them it wasn't their fault. Yeah, from 6 feet away with a mask on, I'm sure. But that you can be really careful, but it's just very contagious. That it was okay to cry. Oh, it's okay to cry. And that she wanted to help. You already told you. She didn't set out to be a hero now. Some were afraid for the people they have infected unknowingly. I try to assure them that they were going to monitor their contacts. Oh, I assure that we're going to monitor those contacts. Come on. And make sure that they had needed to quarantine safely. This is fucking insanity. And this is real. This is why I left New York State. There were also moments of extreme kindness, like the people who called their contacts immediately after getting symptoms or test results, just in case, and as a result, may have saved lives. There were families carefully caring for elderly relatives to prevent them from getting sick, making sure they were getting their appointments, afraid of infecting them, wanting us to check in on them, grateful that we were monitoring. But we're not going to talk about Andrew Capo Cuomo, right? No Capo, no policy. No moving sick patients in with nursing homes and disabled people? None of that? No? Huh. I guess we're not going to do that, though. Right? I guess no, right? And it's so weird that, this is going on in New York when that's the most, boopity-booped place around. But we'll talk about that at Rockfin at the end after we get done with some of our hero worship here. And remember, if you're a good little boy, you get a nice little donut. You got a little card? Donut. And then, you know, if you got your card, you can also eat at the Palisades Hotel in Oneida, New York. Isn't that nice? Isn't that good of them? Man, thank goodness, Palisades. I really do hope you fucking go out of business. How about that? Is that bullying or harassment because I want a business to go out because they're literally imposing medical martial law and segregating people via medical apartheid? Am I bad for that? Maybe. Oh, there were people who felt guilty because they were trying to be polite and didn't say anything to one person they interact with who wasn't wearing a mask. Oh, no! They were wearing it. Oh, no! There were instances of extreme bravery, like the adult children of hospitalized patients. They'd spend 30 minutes telling me everywhere their sick parent went. Everywhere. How they think their parent got infected, and all the people who may have infected as a result. All the while, they didn't know if they would see their parent again. So they basically narked on every single possible person they could think of with no scientific data basis that they should have done so, while their parents were unable to actually interact with their human children. Sorry, Anita. Not loving it. Not loving it. Some people were just lonely and wanted to talk. Maybe they were elderly or they lived alone. I would stay on the phone just a little longer to hear their stories, to give them a brief moment of human contact. Oh, that's so brave of you. To let them wish that their spouse of 50 years would come home. Oh, my God. I mean, this is just like the wildest thing ever. Jeff Brady, thank you so much for that super tip over at the Rockfin, by the way. And we're going to be moving to the Rockfin pretty shortly. But I do want to highlight this one section that we're coming up on right here. Okay? There were people who yelled and vented at me about politics because they thought I had some direct line to the mayor or governor and could pass along their grievances. No, I would have told you just to fuck off, and I'm not talking to you, period. And I repeat. I probably would have given you a tongue lashing. They didn't see that I was on their side. No, you're not on their side. That I'm angry too. No, you're not. You're obviously not. You acquiesced into being a brown shirt. I'm angry too. I'm with you guys. Give me a break. That I wanted this virus to stop. And it would be easier if they could please calm down and tell me whom they were around when they were infectious. I'm here to help. You tell me what I need to know. I'm brave. Didn't always work. No kidding. Yeah, I would have told you to get out of here. And here it is. I had one person roar at me, implying that was part of a government conspiracy. Oh, now it's implying. He didn't even say it. To prevent New Yorkers from going to protests. And there were more than a few references to the China virus. Ooh. Did they take the term conspiracy theorists out there? I read this whole thing. Maybe I'm missing that part too. It was in there here before. Let's see. Did they take that out? No, there it is. Oh, we did. Yeah. I guess it was conspiracy and not conspiracy theorists. So again, there it is, guys. We're now going to talk about some boop stuff, right? I mean, again, it's basically like oatmeal, but we can't unlock everything. But it's super effective, and it's like a super oatmeal that is doing everything great except for what? Except for unlocking the country and the world without authoritarian dictates and weird restrictions via boop passwords. Jaybird over on Rockfin, where we're transitioning over, rockfin.com. Make that free account. Follow me over there. F their build. I don't know why I say it. Build it. A8. F censorship. F YouTube. F their pandemic. F mass and social distancing. Love the content and truth to power. Burmis, twin powers, unite. Appreciate that. I do want to remind people also, later this evening, it's going to be 9 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to have Jamie Deluxe on. But over on YouTube, guys, you know where everything is. You can support me right here, right now, with the links down below. Again, at Jason Burmis on Venmo. Jason is void at yahoo.com. That's the PayPal. We can't talk much more boop stuff because I'm about to go hog wild. You think I'm mad about the contact tracers? Yeah, that's part of it. But they're there to basically circumvent law enforcement as they defund the police. They put DARPA robots on the street, and they got a bunch of uneducated, low-paid bootlickers that somehow have replaced doctors and cops to dictate globalist mandates that are authoritarian and completely unconstitutional. So thumbs the video up on the way out. Subscribe down below over at YouTube as well. Share the videos. And guys, come on over to Rockfin, because that's where it's going to be back at after this. I love you guys. It's not about left or right. It's about right and wrong. And it's about to get exclusive over at